When I started building Verge Golf, I didn't start with a product. I didn't start with designs, I didn't start with pricing, and I didn't start with what the target demographic was. I started with one question. What is the mental real estate that the brand owns? Because if you don't answer that first, then everything else becomes a decoration. So let's get into the core positioning. Verge Golf is the drop-driven golf culture brand that expects you to move differently. That's it. It's not performance first, not country club prestige, it's not meme driven, and it's not for loud golf influencers. There are plenty of brands that are already winning in those territories. If Verge tried to compete there, it would just dilute immediately. So instead of asking, how do we look better? I asked, what distinct internal energy does this brand exist on? The answer was movement. Not speed, not athleticism, but movement as presence. It was movement as identity, movement as energy. Verge doesn't compete on stats. It competes on posture. So what does move different actually mean? So now here's where positioning becomes real or it becomes empty. Move different cannot mean flashy. It cannot mean loud. It cannot mean that I'm trying to be seen. That's insecurity designed as branding. So we had to define it internally before we could define it externally. Move different means composed confidence, internal self-belief, grounded presence, skill without noise, fun without immaturity, respect for the game, and effortless individuality. You do not announce that you are different. You just simply move that way. And that distinction matters because confidence is internal, different is external. And this brand does not sell hype. It sells internal confidence that produces external perception. When someone wears Verge, the subconscious mind shouldn't say, cool shirt. What the reaction should be is that person moves different. That reaction is the brand's mental real estate. Now here's why we went with drops as the mechanism. Once positioning is defined, everything downstream becomes much easier to build. If Verge Golf is about composed presence, then it can't have mass-produced familiarity. It cannot be permanently available. It cannot feel accessible to everyone. So what we did is we built it around cultural drops. So that means limited releases with no restocks, moment-driven campaigns, and each drop has its own creative world around it. Scarcity is not just a tactic here. It's incredibly structural. If everyone can get it at any time, the positioning will start to collapse because then aspiration disappears. And Verge is not trying to be known by everyone. It's trying to be desired by the right ones. The drop mechanism reinforces identity, not availability. Then we had to define what Verge is not, because this is equally important to what Verge is. Positioning isn't just what you are. It's what you actively refuse to be. Verge Golf is not country club proper. It's not meme apparel. It's not disrespectful to the game. It's not loud hype culture. It's not hustle porn, entrepreneurial building. And it's not streetwear cosplay pretending to be golf. Those are lanes, and all of them can work in their own way. That's just not what Verge Golf is going to be. If we drift into them, we lose clarity. And clarity is our biggest asset right now. Now, what's the target psychographic? If you notice, I haven't defined an age. I haven't defined a handicap, and I haven't defined an income bracket. Verge is psychographic. It is not demographic. It's for individuals who carry quiet self-belief, enjoy the game without needing validation, they compete internally, they create memories with friends and family, they can hit driver off the deck, but they don't need to prove it, and they wear bold when they choose. And it's not to be seen, but it's because they can. They don't need to be scratch golfers. They don't need to be high-level athletes. They don't need to be entrepreneurs. All they simply have to do is move differently. That's the filter, and filters are more powerful than funnels. So what are the strategic implications of this? Once positioning is set, it dictates everything. Content cannot be loud. It must be composed, cinematic, and intentional. It must be cultural and not instructional. Subtle confidence over high volume energy. The apparel cannot feel gimmicky. It must be wearable on the course and beyond. Athletic foundation with cultural execution. The drops must feel curated. They must not feel mass-produced. Campaigns must allow diverse creative expression, but always rooted in movement and presence. Scarcity reinforces identity. Identity reinforces aspiration, and aspiration reinforces positioning. It becomes a constant loop. But here's the real test. Positioning is not validated by what you say. It's validated by what people immediately think when they see Verge Golf. If someone sees Verge and says, nice golf apparel, we have completely failed. If someone sees Verge and thinks, I want in, that means it's working. That means the marketing plan is working. Because positioning isn't about clothing. It's about mental ownership. And that's why Law 1, brand positioning, exists for a reason. If you don't control what you mean in the mind of the market will decide for you. But the problem is, once the market decides for you, you're not building a brand. You're reacting to perception.